So I got a new phone. Very excited about this. I am so okay. I don't know where to look. Oh, there I look. I'm looking at you. Hi, you. How are you? Hope you're doing good. I am late with my my video today, but I did want to just take a moment and check in, see how you guys are doing. I'm so excited. My phone is so pretty. Do you have a new phone? Tell me in the messages, in the comments. We had our phone's generation was like ancient. So anyway, tell me how you're doing. So what would love do? What would love do? So this is our topic, and I want to just think about it for a moment because this is like a big thing. It's one of the hardest concepts, I think, for me, in certain terms, certain ways, because when we think about love, it's so convoluted. Our brains like to get involved in what it is, what it means, and that kind of thing. But ultimately, if love is unconditional, and we were to take it as such, as a real thing, right? We were to believe that love was a real thing that could make choices. So I was working through something recently, and I said, "What would love do if it wasn't so screaming mad?" And then my answer was, "Well, love isn't screaming mad. You're screaming mad, Kira. You're screaming mad." So, what is it that what would love do in that screaming, you know, angry place? Well, it would accept. It would feel kindness. It would feel compassion. It would see that other um, situation or that person or that experience in a way that is joining, that's connecting, that's positive, that's loving, right? So, have you ever had to choose love over rightness? Write in the comments. Tell me if you have. You ever had to choose love over rightness? Have you ever had to choose kindness over rightness? And what was the result? What was the thing that happened as a result? What I found was that I experienced a level of peace. I said, okay, well, if love could make a choice for me, because I'm out of my choice right now. I'm in an unresourceful state. I don't know what I'm doing. Please guide me, because I don't know what I'm doing. Taking that moment and saying, what would love do, pulls me out of my own mind and my own decision function, which is obscured by the fact that I am out of a resourceful state. So when we get out of that resourceful state, we have to call on something um, deep within to say, let something else make a positive choice for me because my choices are a little bit off right now. And allow yourself to be open to that idea. And you know what? It's okay to be screaming mad. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to kind of roll with the punches. And it could take several hours. It could take several days. It could take several months to move past the discomfort that you feel about a person or situation. But ultimately, if we come back to this understanding, if we come back to love in this way, and we say, what would love do? We can then open up to different ideas. Even if you don't have it all together, and even if you're still a little bit upset, that's perfectly okay as well. So I'm not really teaching you anything. This is something that you already know. I'm just reminding you of the truth that's already there. It's already within. It's already something that's connecting you to who you are at a deeper, more profound level. And so, have you tell me in the comments if you would like, tell me if there has ever been a time where you felt peace in the face of difficulty, in the face of a challenge that was working against you. And if not, just say hi to me, just so I know you're there. Because I'm like, am I talking to, I see you, I see you out there. So just say hi to me. All right, so now we have, excuse me. Oh, hey, Ginger. Hey, girl. Awesome. Um, so what is your idea of love? What are your ideas on love? Have you ever had to take a moment and say, I'm going to choose love over this. And what would that look like? So the other thing that I've been rolling around in my mind with, excuse me, is clear. Is the idea that if okay, so if God was one of us, you know that one, that song. All right. If God was one of us, so what if God was all of us, and every single person that you experience was Holy Spirit, right? Let's say, and I use Holy Spirit interchangeably with Spirit, Universe, God, Divine, all that kind of stuff. Hi, Todd. I use that interchangeably. So when we think about um, what if God was one of us, what if God was all of us, so that every single person you encounter is love. It's like, yeah, but they make choices I don't like, that feel uncomfortable to me, that feel hurtful to me or harmful to me. Yes, but that's not who we're talking about. That's their ego. Their ego is what you feel that conflict with, potentially. And then also just creating and attracting a situation or person into your life that helps you get clear about the things that you do and don't want. And then helping you to practice boundaries, practice yourself in connection with yourself. It is not, our outward expression of life. So those people that you have that come into your life and cause havoc and stuff, they are a perfect representation of the exact thing that you need to learn right now, that you need to connect with right now. And so it's so difficult. And I know this is me really integrating this aspect of my uh, mindset right now. So I might be a little messy, but ultimately, what I've seen more and more recently, more and more recently, is that um, I'm seeing that Holy Spirit in everyone I encounter. That doesn't mean I have to spend my life with them. That doesn't mean I have to interact with them daily. It doesn't mean that, but I can contribute kindness, to kindness with them, to compassion with them, to loving them. And sometimes the most loving thing we can do, and this isn't coming from me, this is, I believe this is real love, is is not go into behavior myself. So if I know I'm going to go into behavior around a person or situation, then I need to do the most loving thing possible. And sometimes that just means shh, be quiet. Sometimes, sometimes it means um, just seeing the truth of it, seeing the real reality of it, and not taking it so um, uh, about me, and instead, what is the lesson I'm taking from it? I don't know. What do you think? What? Oh, Ginger, I love that you're doing this. I thank you, Ginger. I love that you're here and that you're watching. I just love you. um, I am so thrilled to learn a little bit more every day and to connect every day and to learn every day. Did I already say that? I think I did. And as I'm learning and growing and developing, I like sharing these things with you. And a lot of these things I've learned, I have knowledge of from years and years and years, but putting them in consistent practice is a different thing. What I found to be really helpful for me, as I've been reading a book called A Course of Love, and that is the continuation from A Course in Miracles. And I can't I have a very hard time understanding Course in Miracles. It just doesn't register. But A Course of Love, it's making a lot of sense to me. So, but just reading it, and I told myself that I would not understand it. I've allowed myself not to understand it. That's a better way to say it. I'm allowing myself to fail. And I know that sounds a little bit weird, but meaning every time I want to do something or whatever, I always try to be perfect at it and be an expert at it and do the best at it I possibly can, right? And with this, I know that it's so much deeper than my intellectual understanding that I have to allow myself not to be an expert. And so instead, what I'm doing is I'm just reading it. What gets in, gets in. What doesn't get in, doesn't get in. And that is okay. That's okay. I'm choosing to make that okay in my life. So, what are some things that you have chosen to just be okay with? To just trust that they're going to flow through perfectly, exactly the way they're supposed to. It could be your health, it could be your money situation, it could be your relationships, it could be your friendships, it could be all kinds of different things. What are some things that you have just said, I'm going to just allow it to be whatever it's going to be, and it doesn't have to be exactly the way I want it. I can just allow it to unfold naturally. What are those things for you? I'd love to hear it in the comments if you want to tell me. So basically, guys, I just want to give a positive message here. Consider what would love do, and a lot of people say, what would Jesus do, or what would your grandma who has a heart of gold do, or what would somebody do that you feel like you look up to? Love is such a, like I said in the beginning of this, a convoluted word that we have assigned good or bad traits to based on our experience. And so we say, well, I have evidence that love is not kind, but that's not love. Love cannot be simultaneously good and bad. It is only what it is. It is only pure. And the overlays that we put on love to keep ourselves from potentially getting hurt is really the lie. And again, this is coming from my own assimilated worldview. It's not perfect, but it is what I am considering right now. And so when we look at love and we think, what would love do? Love is so you think about, okay, so what would I do for Holy Spirit or universal spirit or whatever? What would I do if someone was the embodiment of spirit, which they are? Every single person in your life is, even if you don't like what they're doing. Okay? Every single person is. Doesn't mean you have to spend your time with them. It doesn't mean you have to hang out with them all the time. But whatever that person is, and it was Holy Spirit, you knew that it was Holy Spirit standing in front of you. Is there anything you wouldn't do for that person, for that Holy Spirit, that embodiment of light? Is there anything you wouldn't do for them? Of course not. You do anything you could to make their life happier, easier, and more balanced. The struggle that I'm having is that I'm like, yeah, that's good and all. I can see that that's there. I can see that that is the truth. But because there's always a but. But um, what about the ego part that wants to hurt, abuse, and make me feel bad about myself, or is pulling my strings or pushing my buttons? What about that part that is way more difficult to love? And I'm working through this answer for myself, and maybe you can find that answer for yourself. Please put in the comments if you feel like you know what it is, because I'd love to learn. Is the thing that I'm working through is, if only love is real, which is another video on here. If only love is real, every then anything else is unreal, right? So only love is real, everything else is unreal, and everything that's unreal doesn't exist. So if that's true, and we're just going to assume it is, if that's a true statement, then that means that the part that's hurting me, or the part that's, girl, testing me, okay, testing, that's what that's how I grew up. That's how people would say things. Girl, they are testing me, truly. Um, that 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 is not a real part. That is not real. So if it's not real and it doesn't even exist anyway, then I will pay no attention to that part. I will not put energy into that part. I will not connect with that part. I will not engage with that part, just like we wouldn't do that if something just simply didn't exist for us, right? So instead, I'm going to say, hey, that's love. That's love right there. That's all love. Nothing else exists. Now, I will let you know when I come to that exalted state of enlightenment. I'm sure you'll notice You'll notice where I only see love. What will that look like, girl? I don't know. All right, Ginger says, I have learned to just let the universe bring me what's in my highest good. Life is too short to try to control it all. Look for the surprises. I like that. Look for the surprises. Look for the surprises. And, let people surprise you. I love that, Ginger. Let people surprise you with being different. Wouldn't that be neat? Is this that all of a sudden that person that you've had to struggle with or painful interaction with or has been doing whatever, that suddenly something in them starts to shift because all you're engaging with is love? Isn't that interesting? And that does happen. It actually happens quite a bit. So, you know, uh, look for the evidence of love being real. Let's do that. We'll do that today, tonight, with what little time we have left. Let's all look for the evidence of love being real. All right, guys, I love you so much. I will talk to you again soon, probably tomorrow, maybe tomorrow morning. And I will hang out with you and we'll discuss a little more of this stuff. I like it. We're just having some inspired goodness and connecting moments. And I hope you're all doing well. And I will talk to you again soon.